Hello students. Today we are going to start Chapter 3, the countryside under the company's rule. The topic which we are going to start, that is the growth of the commercial crops. With the introduction of new revenue system, peasants want to produce more and more cash crop. Cash crop means they want to sell it into the market. Commercial word means they are producing it for the industries, for the market. Why they want to produce more and more cash crop? Okay, they want to increase the rate of revenue, that whatever the revenues they have to pay as a land revenue, they want to cope up with that. By the late 18th century, the company was trying their best that they can increase the cultivation of opium and indigo. So, by the late 18th century, the company was trying their best. They want to increase the cultivation of opium. Opium means your opium, that is also called God's own medicine, and indigo. In various parts of India, the officials, they were convinced, means persuaded, means they were convinced the cultivators to produce other crops. So the British officials, they were convinced by the cultivators, they want to produce other crops also, like jute in Bengal, wheat in Punjab, tea in Assam, rice in Madras, sugar cane in Uttar Pradesh, and cotton in Maharashtra. See, this is a lady working in a tea garden. This is your cotton crop, sugarcane crop. So the color of indigo has been associated with political power of religious ritual. Okay, its color is for the religious ritual. It has been a significant place in many worlds of civilization for thousands of years. In the excavation of Thebes were a tribe, they excavated an indigo garment. It was 2500 BC back, it was found when the Thebes they were excavating. Our Hindu god Krishna, okay, our Hindu god Krishna is most often depict the blue. He's being depicted in a blue color. The indigo dye comes from a leguminous plant species of the Indigofera genus. Leguminous plant are those plants which are having nitrogen fixation, means nitrogen is being fixed in there. Okay, it is the indigo dye, it comes from a leguminous plant. Like pulses, they are also a leguminous plant. Generally, a leguminous plant species is a flowering plant, okay, that that is having ability of nitrogen rich materials are being present in the soil because of that. It helps in increasing the soil fertility. It is also known as Indigofera genus, of which was over 300 species of 2 species are named, have been identified. 300 species are being found, only 2 species names have been identified. 2 species are named, that is one that is native to India, another to Asia. One to India and Asia and other to South and Central America. So 300 species of Indigofera genus has been identified, and means 300 species are found and 2 are being identified. One that is from India and Asia, another which is from South and Central America. The plant, it grows from 2 to 6 feet in height, and the dye is obtained from the leaves through the process of fermentation. Okay, the word is missing. Through the process of fermentation, the dye is being obtained from here. The process of fermentation helps in obtaining the dye. The dye, which was first mentioned in the histories of Herodotus, who describes its use in Mediterranean area, he used it in the Mediterranean area. It was the time of crusades that the indigo became one of the valued spices that the Italian merchant acquired in Cyprus. It is telling about the history of the indigo. Herodotus, he used it in Mediterranean area. Then crusades, In the at the time of the Crusades, the indigo became a valued spices to the Italian merchants in the Cyprus. Then it was acquired by the Cyprus, Alexandria, and Baghdad. But the trade of indigo dye became commercial after 1498 when the sea route to India opened. This is not to say that Europeans had no other way of obtaining blue dye. Okay, the woad plant, which is native to a northern Italy, plants southern France, parts of England, Germany, they used to grow indigo colored dye from their leaves. Okay, these countries, they used to grow the plant. Okay, they used to yield indigo and they used to obtain the colored dye from its leaves, but it was not of good quality. It was inferior to obtain from the indigo plant. In the 17th century, it became one of the chief article to be traded by the Dutch and the British East India Company. The indigo supply from India were not sufficient to meet the European demand. So the indigo cultivation was taken up to the other colonies also of India, that everybody should grow the indigo. This is flowering plant of indigo. So indigenous variety of indigo, it was cultivated by the Spanish ruler. It was being planted in the Honduras and Pacific slopes of Central America. The French, they were cultivating indigo in the Saint Dominguez in Caribbeans, and the Portuguese were growing in Brazil. The English were growing in Jamaica and Spanish in Venezuela. In these places also indigo was being grown. Many indigo plantations were set up in the North America also. They gained their first indigo producing colony in 1655 when they captured Jamaica. When they captured Jamaica, it was the first indigo producing colony in 1655. In 1740, by the 1740, sugar had replaced indigo as the main crop of Jamaica. Earlier, sugar was the main crop, now the indigo. Sugar replaced indigo as the main crop of Jamaica. Earlier, the indigo was the main crop, it was sugar had replaced that indigo as the main crop. By 18th century, the demand of indigo grew further. The Britain start producing the cotton, it has to be increased. They were demanding the cloth for the dyes. With the production of the cotton also increases in Britain, they were demanding the cloth dyes that is to be obtained from the indigo. When the demand of indigo increased, the supply from West Indies, America, it collapsed. Due to various reasons, the West Indies and America were not giving the indigo to Britain. 1783 and 1789, the production of indigo in the world, it fell by half. Now the cloth dyers in Britain, they were looking for the new places, for the new countries that then grow indigo for them, for the indigo supply. As they want, the demand of indigo was increasing in Europe. The Britishers looked into India. Okay, they looked for various Europe, like 15 species of indigo fera were found in the Bengal region. They were found growing in the Bengal region. In the Bengal, it was the best soil for growing the indigo plants, which was found in Jasora and Krishnanagar and the Champaran districts of Bihar. They were having the best soil to grow the indigo plants. In the eastern Bengal, the indigo, it was used in the 19th century when the British planters made a large investment in it. Because now from nowhere they are getting indigo. So they came to India. They saw that the eastern Bengal, it is having potential to grow indigo. So indigo was cultivated during there in 19th century. So Britishers, they made large investment there. The districts were widely cultivated. Nadia, Bogro, Rangpur, Dhaka. Here the indigo was grown. It was attracted by the prospect of high profits because Britishers want to earn the high profit. Scotsmen, Englishmen, they came to indigo, means they came to India and they started growing indigo. They became the planters in India. Those who were having no money, they can get loan from the British company, East India Company, banks that they were coming up during that time. How the indigo was cultivated. Two main system was there: niche, priority. In the niche system, the planters, they produced indigo in lands. It was directly controlled. The planters, they were producing indigo. It was directly controlled by them. They brought the land or they rented it from other zamindars. These planters, they are having their own land. They have purchased it or they have it been rented from the zamindars. They are producing indigo by directly employing their hired workers, hired laborers. So if you are a planter, you are producing indigo in the lands. It is directly in your control. Either you have purchased that land or you have rented it from the zamindars. You are producing indigo by employing the other persons, hiring the other laborers from outside. Indigo could be cultivated only on fertile lands. The lands which are very fertile, they can only grow indigo. It was very difficult for the planters to expand the area under the niche cultivation. So the planters require large tract of land to cultivate indigo because the demand of indigo was increasing. They need more land area to cultivate the indigo. From where they will get the large area? So they started getting on lease in the land around the indigo factory. They started the land on lease around the indigo area, giving the land on lease basis. Okay, lease is for 5 years or 10 years. You have to pay the amount, whatever being mentioned in the lease contract. They also try to evict the peasants from that area. They don't want any peasants over that area. They want to evict them. This thing causes tension and conflict. Now the plantation required a large number of hands to be operated because now the area they want big. Now it needs more people, more hands to operate that cultivation. Labor was not always available whenever the Britishers required the laborer. Labor was needed at the time when the peasants were busy, they were cultivating the rice. At that time, they need also for growing indigo. So the niche cultivation on a wide scale also require the plough and the bullocks. Okay, farmers are growing rice also. At the same time, these niche cultivation, they also want the bullocks and the plough also. One bigga. What is bigga? Bigga is in Hindi a unit of measurement of means land. That is less than an acre. One bigga. One bigga of indigo cultivation required two plough, which means that a planter with 1000 bigga would need 2000 plough. If a person is having one bigga of land, it requires two plough. If a person is having 1000 bigga of land, it needs 2000 plough. Now, how will you invest in purchasing the plough? This was a problem. Nobody was interested in investing by purchasing the plough. The plough were not easily available. Okay, they were also busy. I told you, they were busy in cultivating the rice when the indigo planters needed them. So late 19th century, planters were reluctant to expand the area. They cannot expand the area under niche cultivation. 25% of the land producing indigo was under this niche cultivation. The rest was opted for an alternative mode of cultivation, that was royalty system. Now, what was royalty system? The ryots means the Indian farmer, the peasants, they were forced by the planters to sign a contract, means agreement, satta. How? The village headman was forced to sign the contract on behalf of the Indian farmers. Okay, the village headman was forced to sign the contract on the behalf of the villagers. The person who signed the contract received cash in advance, means the village headman, he will receive the cash as advance from the planters at low rate of interest. See, now the royalty system. So the village headman, he used to sign a contract on behalf of all the farmers, peasants. The person who is signing the contract means the village headman. He was given cash as advance from the planters at a low rate of interest. The loan, as a loan, pressurized the Indian farmers to cultivate 25% of land under their holdings. Now they were under the control of the loan. The loan was there, a liability was there on them. So it pressurized them that they need to cultivate 25% of their land. The seed, the drills were provided to the planters for growing. While the cultivators were preparing the soil, they were sowing the seeds, they looked after their crops. Okay, they were providing the seeds, and the drills were given to the planter till that time. They were preparing, while the cultivators were preparing the soil, sowing the seeds, they look after the crop. After the crop was given to the planter, a new loan system was begin. A new system of loan cycle began. The peasant who in beginning were tempted by loan found the system very harsh. The peasants earlier, they were very tempted that the loan is given to them. Loan will be given to us. Okay, we will sell the crop and we will earn more, whatever the amount of loan. But now the peasants got means what should I say? It was kept in their mind. Now they have understood that this system is not good. This is very harsh. Okay, they have been fooled. The price they received for indigo was very low. See, the Britishers told them, okay, take the loan for the cultivation, sell it to us. You will get or earn more money. But when the peasants, okay, they sold it, the income, the price which they were getting was very low. So soon they understood that the system is very harsh. The cycle of loan will never stop because we are getting low amount of money. We cannot pay off the loan. Another loan we are taking for cultivation of crop. We will be in the circle of this loan. In debt trap we call it. The planters insisted that indigo be produced in the soil which is very fertile. So the soils that the peasants are cultivating already rice. So indigo plant, they were having very deep roots. So it was exhausted the soil rapidly. So after the harvest of indigo, you cannot cultivate. The soil becomes unfit for the cultivation. The Indigo Revolt, the Blue Rebellion. By the 19th century, late 19th century, farmers preferred, they want to cultivate the rice and jute. They don't want to cultivate indigo because it was not giving any profit to them. When coerced by the planters to cultivate, they were very forced by the planters that they should grow the indigo. Farmers, they organized a movement in 1859 that we will not grow indigo. We don't want to grow indigo. It is not giving any profit to us. The Indigo Revolt was the indigo farmers. It gave uprising against the indigo planters in 1859. This revolt started in March 1859, when the farmers, they refused the Britishers, we will not grow indigo. Okay, we will not grow seedling of indigo plant. It was non-violent movement. Farmers were not in possession of any time of arms. They were not having any types of arms at that time. Indigo planting was introduced in large parts of Burdavan, Barankura, Birbhum and Murshidabad. The indigo planters, they left no stones unturned to make money. Okay, they were, because already they were taking loan for the growing indigo crop, so they were having no stones unturned to make the money. They were having nothing left to earn money. So they merciless pursued the peasants to plant indigo, okay, instead of food crops. Indigo planters, okay, they closed all the doors. They left nothing that they can make money. So they pursue the peasant that they should grow indigo instead of their rice and jute. They provided loan at very high rate of interest. Once a farmer took a loan, he remained under debt his whole life. That's what I told you, na. Once the loan taken, okay, they were given low amount for their indigo crop. Like, you have taken loan from me for growing the indigo. Okay. Next time when you are selling it to me, you thought that I'll give you more money. I'm giving you less money. For another growing of the crop, indigo, you have to take the loan again. First loan, you have not repaid. Second loan, you are taking. You are under the debt trap. Whole life, it will go on. I told you, na, the price which were paying by them, it was meager. Meager means very less. Only 25% of the market price was given to them. The farmers were making no profit by growing this indigo. They were unprotected by the brutal indigo planters. Okay, they were mortgaging their properties. Mortgaging means they were selling off their property, or mortgaging means like giving someone and taking the money instead. Girvi rakhna, we call it mortgage. Like you are giving it to someone and taking the money in for the amount to be given of that land. You are giving the land to someone and the money is being given to them for that land. If you are means unable to pay the loan back to them, they will sell off your property. So the indigo planters, they were mortgaging their property if they are unwilling to obey them. Okay, they were resorted to mortgage their property. By an act in 1833, the planters, they were granted a free hand for oppression. The zamindar, moneylender, influential person, they sided with the planters only. The farmer resorted to revolt. The Bengal middle class supported the peasants only. Wholeheartedly, they were supporting the peasants only. Dinabandhu Mitra, he gave full account of this Indigo Revolt in his play Neel Darpan. It is the image of Dinabandhu Mitra. The revolt started in Nadia. Bishnucharan Bishwas and Digambar Bishwas first took up arms against the planters. Earlier they were not using arms. Now they took up the arms against the planters, were not listening to them. It spread a wildfire in the Murshidabad, Birbhum, Burdavan. Indigo planters were put under public trial and they were executed. The indigo depots, it were burned down. The many planters led to avoid being caught. They were running here and there. They don't want to get caught. The zamindars were also targeted of the revolting peasants. Now the peasants, they got angry. They were revolting. Zamindars were also on their target. The revolt brought down a large military and a police force. Okay. So the revolt, it brought down by a large military and police force. They brought this revolt down. It involved almost the whole of Bengal. The revolt was directed against British planters. They behaved like feudal lords in their estates. The revolt received the support of all categories of the rural population, including zamindar, moneylender, rich peasants, karamcharis, everybody. They were supporting. From the beginning of the 19th century, many officers of the East India Company, they acquired the land from the Indian zamindars in Bihar and Bengal and began a large-scale production of the indigo. So, from the beginning, I told you, many they were obtaining the East India Company land from the Indian zamindars in Bengal and Bihar, and they started cultivating indigo there. These planters, they committed oppression on the cultivation of Nadia districts. They said, we will not grow indigo. They go on strike. The strike spent on Jasora, Kulna, Dhaka, Malda and other places in Bengal. Now the government thought that it is a great agrarian uprising. Agrarian means agricultural uprising has come. It issued a notification enjoining on the police to protect the riot. The police was there to protect the Indian farmers who were possessing the lands without interference on part of the planter or anybody else. Now they were fearing a great agrarian uprising. The government issued a notification that you have to join on the police to protect this Indian peasants who were having their land. Okay, no interference will be there of the planter or anybody else. An Indigo Commission was appointed in 1860. The commission held planters guilty. Okay, the commission said the planters are guilty and they criticized them that they are using corrosive methods, forceful method for growing the indigo as the farmers don't want to grow it. The commission asked the Indian farmers to fulfill their existing contract but refuse to produce indigo in future. Okay. The commission said that grow the indigo according to your contract. Commission said, but indigo planters said, means indigo, which were farmers which were growing indigo, they said we will not grow. They refused to produce indigo in future. The Bengal indigo planters, they were developed cold feet. Gradually they moved Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. In 1866 and 1868, Darbhanga and Champaran in Bihar witnessed agitation by indigo farmers. They were very angry. There was agitation by indigo farmers. Okay, they finally blew to grow indigo. When became a synthetic dye was being invented. Okay, but indigo plantation, it was continued in Bihar. In 1970, Mahatma Gandhi finally brought a relief to the poor peasants of Champaran, okay, and they don't have to pay the land revenue. It was being done by the indigo means for the indigo planters. Mahatma Gandhi organized. He finally brought a peace means a relief to the poor peasants of Champaran. It is a recapitulation exercise. When was Diwani of Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha granted to the East India Company? Second, who devised the Malwari system? Third, from which leguminous plant indigo dye is obtained? Fourth, which play was written by Dinabandhu Mitra? Thank you and have a nice day ahead.